What's up, everybody? Chris, Legendary Mana, and it's time for Selesnian Podcast. And today I have a special guest who hasn't been on the show in quite some time. But one of the things I also want to talk about this podcast is open to anyone. So, meaning there's going to be some controversial topics, maybe even controversial people, so on and so forth. It doesn't really matter because this show is about symposium, meaning everybody has an opinion, everybody can talk about it, and it's something where if there's something important, it doesn't matter who they are. And I love this guy anyways. Most people will say, no, I don't like this guy. I don't really care because, well, Desolator Magic is joining me once again. Welcome on the show, buddy.
Hey, darn, I was hoping it was a better guest. Darn. Oh, well.
Hey, I like it when you're on the show because we have some great conversations.
Oh, you bet. I might sneak out early, beat the traffic, though.
Oh, okay. So let's go ahead and get right into it. We have 3 topics to cover today. One small one, a couple of juicy ones, some controversial stuff. And I know you have some strong opinions on some of the stuff we're going to talk about. So first topic we're going to talk about today is the lottery cards are gone from Magic the Gathering sets. So no more invocations with the bad card art, no more inventions or high price $2,000 lands. It's just straight up cards in the set. And there's an interesting sort of stigma about this. In the finance community, some people are saying IXALAN is going to skyrocket, single sales are going to go crazy, and so on and so forth. And others are experiencing the opposite. And yet we still sit here and we're seeing EVs of, in the, low 90s. We're not hitting those astronomical numbers that people thinking we are. My question to you is, what's your experience so far because I know you're a single seller.
Oh, you bet.
And the other thing is what do you think the future holds for this whole single selling without lottery cards? Is it less opening? Is it the same amount of opening? What do you see?
Well, I think, the people that are saying, hey, it's going to skyrocket the prices, they're only thinking of one factor, and there's more than one factor that goes into card prices. The cards have to be playable and good at a competitive level. That is almost exclusively what sets the prices. But I will say that universally, almost every set, 15 to 20% of the value of a box, or 1,000 boxes would be more accurate, was the lottery cards, the Masterpiece series. And it went down a little bit. It went from about 20 down to 15, and the value was dropping of the cards total. So it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, okay, so I would expect IXALAN to go back up by 15% compared to what it could have been. And as a single seller, I thought, well, who cares? Because this is very predictable. It's just, if a box is worth 110, people are going to open it. If it's 108, they're going to open it. If it's 106, they're going to open it. And then as soon as it hits their margin where they're paying for envelopes, they're paying for staff and that kind of stuff, as soon as they break even, they stop opening it. So it's very, very, very predictable what all of the cards together will be worth on average. The only limiting factor is if Wizards stops printing it or they can't keep up with demand, which is why you see the high prices for a couple weeks. So with them gone, I thought, well, whatever, a 15% upswing. That's no problem for me because I thought, well, it's a double-edged sword because I like paying, about $3, like the envelope, the postage, the tracking, first class, the label, everything cumulatively costs about $3. So if I'm sending out a card worth $70, $80, that's lovely because it's one card and people just buy it and that's it. I don't have to match it up with anything or get stuck with leftovers. But with them gone, the average set of 4 that I'm selling on eBay now just went up 15%, but I'm still paying exactly $3 for shipping. So It should be a wash or something close to it. So I think people saying, oh, the prices are going to double. Where were you before BFZ? Come on. I sold cards before then. We're just going to return to what they were doing before. So people are like, what's going to happen? I don't know. This is how Magic was for the last, lot of years.
Right.
I don't know when online sales really took off, but yeah, so people are making too much out of it, I think. So,
but so here, let me ask you this though, right? With less without lottery cards, there's less end user just buying boxes to open them to get a lottery card, right? So does that open up the secondary market for single sellers to be able to sell more at a much higher rate, or a much quicker rate, or a much more, with more turnover?
I think so. I mean, because most of the cards that enter the market and directly enter the market, obviously, are single sellers opening boxes. So you open a box, you immediately sort them and put them on, for sale. Now, people who are like, should I buy a pack today? Oh, I didn't win any packs at F&M. Should I, get the 3 for $10 deal that everybody has usually at shops? Mine doesn't. And they're on the fence. They're like, oh, but I could pull a $300 card. And then that little mental push over the cliff. I think people never got over that. I mean, 6 sets almost in a row with lottery cards, and people still were like, I could pull this.
Yeah.
But then the flip side is, you could pull a mythic rare or mythic foil. Mythic foil.
Right.
Those are the exact same prevalence, give or take. It varies. But so you could pull a mythic. The problem is the mythics from this set are terrible. They're just so far terrible. If they could go into a deck at any time, but even just reading the card and saying, is this good? Is this likely to go in a deck? I'd say no for the vast majority of them. So that's like getting hit twice, so then you got to rely on the rares, and that's why the set isn't doing amazingly. But what I think they should have done, because I get why they did. You guys, everybody knows the decision logic. They said we are running out of cards that are worthwhile. So if we keep doing it every single set, which would have now been 3 times a year, we'll just run out of worthwhile cards, and every masterpiece will be like $10, and then what's the point? So I'm like, yeah, okay, but what are you going to do? I think they're going to do them once per year. Just out of the 4 sets, they're going to put them in one of them, and that's it. And then they'll just cycle through, land, spells, creatures, whatever, artifacts, and just whatever. But what they should do, and I think they're probably clever enough to figure this out, because the whole idea was pretty clever in the first place, is they're going to take either like 5 or 10 cards that they think are very powerful in the set, or just take all 15 mythics and make them also masterpieces. Because remember, 5 masterpieces were always cards in the set, in every single set, or maybe some were more. But I remember the Gear Hulks were them, so there's like, the Gear Hulks are powerful. Let's do the Gear Hulks. Done. Right. So yeah, if they would have done that for IXALAN and just had all 3, I think it is, of the Planeswalkers be masterpieces, and then 2 of the most powerful mythics, and that's it. Nobody needs them. Nobody's required to buy them. It's still the same, just premium. Oh, the whales are supporting the game. And maybe it would have been 10% of the value instead of 20. But it would have been nice to just psychologically have a whoop-de-doo rare, in it. Because I know when Force of Will dropped something like that, people were pissed. That like almost single-handedly killed the game by itself, from what I heard. That's crazy. So you can't just drop the highest rarity after people have it, because then people are so not excited at all. Right. Yeah, those people that would buy them at the local level, I think they hold the cards. I don't think that, because they'd have to either set up their own like selling account on Puka Trade, eBay, Card Shark, TCG, which not a lot of people want to do, because then it's like running a business, or they'd have to buy list them somewhere. And from what I've heard, 90% of the people at my LGS have never buy listed a card ever to anyone, which is very strange. I thought it would have been 50%. Whatever. But I didn't before I became a single seller. I just offload the stuff I don't want to sell to the big vendors, and then they sell it in large lots. No problem. So those extra sales never really became a big thing on the market, other than the people lowering their own personal demand. So if they opened a card they needed, they didn't have to buy it. So I don't know. Does it really, increase, or does it decrease Wizard sales? Yes. But does it also increase the rarity of the cards? Kind of. Not really. Maybe just at the local trade level. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens, though, because right now the prices are way lower than anybody thought. That's just so odd.
Yeah. But again, we still have Pro Tour happening, Yeah,
so that's what I'm thinking. Everybody's like, maybe this is a good deck. Maybe that it's not like obvious where it's like, oh, Hardened Scales Encounters, done. Like, or Blue Devotion, Black Devotion, easy, simple. Let's do it.
Which, by the way, segues into our next topic, which is the effects of rotation and kind of the meta settling in, which I think, sort of feeds into card value, right? Like, so how popular a card is, obviously, it's either going to be high or low. Look at
definitely.
Look at Chandra. It's been up and down since it was released. At one point, Chandra was $12.
Yep.
Now
Yep.
it's $30. Same thing with Torrential Gear Hulk. Torrential Gear Hulk was $40 at one point. And then it went down to, I think at some point it dipped down to like, $9, $10, $11 right around there.
Yep.
And then it shot back up again. So
exactly.
popularity will dictate that. And the same thing with rotation is going to dictate, what happens. So like, for instance, with 4 sets rotating out, right? The card pool has tremendously narrowed right now. And there's something kind of interesting happening in the meta that I'm seeing. And as I'm starting to prepare for GP Portland, and after Star City Games Dallas just happened this past week, we didn't see a lot of IXALAN cards in the top 10, let alone I think in the top 30. I didn't look
that's rough.
close. I didn't look extremely close, but dinosaurs fell hard. It was really bad. The red-green dinosaur deck. It didn't do well. It didn't show well. And then there's some of the other ones just really didn't do well. I mean, you had the God Pharaoh's deck, and some, the energy, the teamer energy and stuff like that. Like, those are still being played a lot. And I think
they didn't lose anything. That's the problem. They're so self-contained. Like, energy
right.
is energy,
So I guess what I'm saying is so the values I feel like could go up at some point once the meta settles in. What are you seeing on your side? Like, I've played a lot of different tribes and I still haven't found anything that really works or melds well yet.
Yeah, I haven't found anything at all. And like, my standards aren't always like, it has to be the best. Just, oh, this looks fun, it could win, Like, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, the power of this deck is shocking, I'm going to bring it. And then other times it's just, this would be cool to play. And obviously I'm not going to bring just an utter joke deck that has no chance of winning.
Right.
Maybe close to rotation. I have done that in the past. Or when I have to leave early on the 4th of July, I did that. And then I almost went 4-0 with it. That was messed up. It was the banana deck. That's why that one's so legendary. And I lost due to a mental mistake. It would have been a sweep. So mad. But I haven't been following singles prices on the 4 sets that are remaining, which, just mathematically, their price is 50% more likely to go up than it was before on a sheer even odds because half the cards are gone now. So,
right.
I don't know if anything's shooting up. I would assume it is,
Slightly.
Okay. Well, there people open so damn much. So,
yeah.
But as soon as sellers start selling out, then you have issues. But for IXALAN, I've been selling since it was released, and I've even been tracking like the pre-order prices from like a week before, and there's been just nothing. There's one card I can name that went up, and that's it. So anytime you open a set, 75% of the cards are just downward trend. Just the second you open them, start losing 1% a day. And that is like almost exactly what it is, which is hilarious. 1% a day lost. So that's why I'll stay up till like 2 a.m. listing cards, because otherwise I just lost another 1% of all my cards. But Hostage Taker, that can single-handedly win the game. So obviously that one went up. But it's just like, the Verdant Gear Hulk. When it came out, people were like, oh my God, and it pre-ordered at like $20, and then it just didn't go into anything. And people were like, oh, it was a bad card. All the analysts didn't know what the hell they were talking about. Well, and then it went back up because it is a good card. It's just whether or not there's a deck to put it in. It's a two-part thing. Is the card good, and is there a deck to put it in? And then it comes down to colors. Are the colors on color with something popular? So I guess Hostage Taker is. I don't really follow the competitive meta, but yeah, so somebody must have brought that and just won with it. And it makes sense. Stealing their best permanent, usually the best creature, and then summoning it the next turn, that's vicious. That is so bad.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, people know what works. So if you only have like a week or a couple weeks, even if you start building a deck in your mind or on paper when you see the spoilers, well, maybe IXALAN was different. We saw the spoilers 6 months ago, but you could start building a deck and then still be like, I don't know, though. I want to see what other people are doing. Because as good as it is, it's like, it's not just how good is the deck, it's can it beat the other people at the tournament and what they're bringing.
Exactly.
If you get nothing but bad matchups, you could have the most powerful deck there and you won't win with it. So that's why net deckers are like, well, I'm just going to copy the top tournament results. Well, no, you should probably build something that beats the majority of what other people are playing, regardless of the results.
Right.
That's why at the next tournament, everything that beat everything at the first tournament is what shows up, and it's completely different. But yeah, it's one of those things where people are they're timid. They're like, you know what? Energy didn't lose that much. And I top 60 forward with it at the last GP. So boom, and then they just bring that because it's a staple and people are still working on IXALAN stuff. But there's two major factors that people are not considering. One, half the vampires are missing, half the merfolks are missing, half the pirates are missing, and half of every mechanic is missing because the second IXALAN set isn't out.
Right.
And you can't play it. You can't play tribal anything because half the cards are missing. I mean, they're not going to make rivals be complete garbage. So once you get all the merfolk, you'll be able to play merfolk. It's not designed to run with half the cards.
Right.
So you're going to get some subpar tier 2 garbage out of any set that's split in two. So thank God they're not doing that anymore. And then the second factor is how disrupted did the other decks get? And I mean, people running like BFZ stuff and Landfall and, anything for Eldritch Moon. Eldritch Moon got just destroyed. Like, that was so many decks. So those are all gone. But what was repairable and doable where you could patch up the deck and keep running with it is anything self-contained and block specific. So you got energy and you got, I guess, zombies. I mean, every set has zombies, but there was some stuff in Amonkhet, some archetypes where people are like, yeah, I didn't lose anything. There it is. But especially energy. I mean, if vehicles came back, I wouldn't be remotely surprised. So yeah, I think IXALAN is going to shoot up when Rivals comes out, which is sad because the second set always sells worse. And then the first set always sells poorly because it's not there and nobody wants the cards. Right. So I can see why they went to a 1-block set.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, right? Like, Kaladesh didn't like shoot up and take off until 8th Revolt came out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, nobody touched it. People were like, energy's kind of cool, mono green energy, but it was crap. And then the new cards came out. Oh, damn.
8th Revolt hit, and that's when Teamer Energy just took over. And I think, too, like, Teamer Energy has gained some pretty powerful pieces in the name of Ripjaw Raptor.
Oh, yeah.
That in itself accelerates the deck.
Yeah, that thing's insane. That's why that card actually went up a little tiny bit.
Yeah. So I've been seeing a lot of variants now playing Commune of the Dinosaurs with Ripjaw Raptor and Teamer Energy, as I feel like a much stronger deck now.
That makes sense. Yeah, and anything that got a boost from the new set, because they need to stop copying Hearthstone and basically every other game where it's just, okay, what tribal are you building? What deck are you building? It's not, or are you going to come up with a neat new deck? It's just, what are you building? It's just the clear, blatant options. It's just like vehicles. There's like not that many vehicles. I think at one point in the game there was like 14, and that was it. So very obvious what to build. There is a clear best deck, and then that's it. Oh man, they need to fix that.
So to finish this section off on the rotation effects, has nothing to do with rotation, but a card that I'm going to call right now that's going to start seeing a resurgence and is going to start going up, Noxious Gearhulk. Oh
yeah, definitely. Even with Flicker gone, that card's so damn good, and the ramp with the treasure in black, why would you not play it? You know?
It becomes even stronger in this meta. Some people are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. But I'm telling you, Noxious Gearhulk is coming up way more often now than it has in the past 3 months.
Yeah, definitely. And it's one of those ones where it went up and down and up and down and up and down. Yeah. So it's very realistic to predict an upswing because it's very likely. It's just so powerful.
And black is going to be a much more played sort of color now, right?
Yeah.
You got Walk the Plank. You have a lot of great removal. And really, most of actual IXALAN's removal, the good stuff, is in black.
Like Vraska's Contempt, I think it's called. That takes out a planeswalker and you gain life. I mean, holy hell.
Yep. Vraska's Contempt, you have Contract Killing, which destroys target creature. You get 2 treasure tokens. I mean...
Well, and even Scarabs, just as the Torment.
Yeah.
Either of the Torments, technically. My God. Yeah. It just eats your creatures alive.
And then Master Metal. I mean, that thing, Tezzeret, even though it's not a great planeswalker, it fits really well in those strategies right now.
Yeah. As soon as somebody looks at colors, they're like, wasn't there a planeswalker? And then they try it, and usually it works.
Yeah.
Even if you run one of, it's so annoying. Planeswalkers just disrupt the whole dang game.
All right. So in the interest of time, let's go ahead and move on to our big topic.
Oh boy.
And, this is one that I've been wanting to cover for a while, and I know you have some good juicy stuff you want to talk about and sort of add to this conversation. So I'll let you start first, and we're going to have a open debate on Magic Arena.
Oh boy.
So real quick, let me just set this up for you, really.
Sure.
Arena is the newest digital offering that Wizards has recently announced, right? If you somehow live under a rock and have not heard of it yet. So there's been, since they've sort of released it or released the information about it and showed it and did the dog and pony show, we've heard a lot of stuff. A lot of people are debating a lot of stuff. But think about this. Before we get into conversation, when it was originally announced, March of 2016, meaning Digital Next, right? It wasn't actually Magic Arena just yet. The description that they gave is a very clear-cut description, in my opinion, and that's to bridge the divide between Magic Online and Magic Duels. Not replacing anything, not doing this, not doing that, but it's to basically bridge the gap between the two, bring the experience closer, right?
Yeah, that was smart too. People agreed with that.
Right. And so they're also saying that it was, kind of geared and targeted towards active casual player and competitive players. So somebody who's, between 6 months to 12 months of playing the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, they wanted to, sort of just focus on digital offerings. And so, like, they even indicated things like putting it on Steam, putting it on Apple phones and Xbox One and Xbox PS4 and so on and so forth. So they've already said all of this before, and I think some people have forgotten. So I kind of want to remind, people of that they've already said a lot of these things almost a year ago. Well, more than a year ago. No, almost a year ago. So, Des, why don't you go ahead and start off the conversation on your thoughts about Arena, because I know you have some pretty good, thoughts on it anyways.
I'm thinking, the whole reason that it came about is basically, like they said they're missing out on a market. They got people who have money and maybe they play paper on and off, but they just don't want to spend the level of money and put up with the just boring interface of MTGO. They're like, oh, if I play paper, but then Duels was like insulting if they already knew how to play the game. Like, even I really couldn't tolerate Duels. I played it for like 4 hours. I'm like, this is just terrible. And so they're like, okay, well, X Mages would be equivalent to MTGO. There's nothing in the middle. And I thought, well, what are they going to do? So everybody's wondering, what is going to be in the middle? What would this even look like? And yeah, now that they announced Arena, we're like, okay, that makes sense. It's MTGO without trading. And that's why it's different. That's the number one difference. People need to focus on that. And then I think they had no intention of canceling Duels because they knew what the PR fallout would be if they killed off something that new that people put a lot of money into. But it's so similar. Yeah. You can't just have two products that are that similar. That's ridiculous. They could have just left Duels there with just the tutorial and had that be like a learn to play Magic thing, because they already said they don't have that in Arena. So that missing is terrible, because Duels was the best way to teach somebody how to play Magic. It was better than a human teaching them. It honestly was.
But, and we'll get to it, and I don't mean to interrupt, but they've actually talked about it briefly, that they're going to do something for the new player.
Oh, okay. Because they initially said no, but I think the backlash was like, because that was the big selling point of Duels was, well, one, it's free to download, and two, it taught you how to play Magic. So, yeah, because the whole human to human, meeting people, let's get a new friend. Okay, now they got me into Magic. It's so unlikely to happen in the real world. If somebody just hears about it and they're like, how do I learn how to play it? I could watch a tutorial on YouTube. Or, Duels, so yeah, right. If they brought in something into Arena, that would be very smart.
Well, so and they obviously they haven't clarified this 100%, but from what I understand, the idea or the thought of what were their sort of what they're going to do is they're going to have it where the gameplay is going to scale to your level of expertise.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you're going to be a beginner, it's going to help you do a lot of things and sort of explain things as you go along, right? If you're a advanced player, like say you or me, you can hit I'm gonna play advanced and switch it to advanced, and you take control of the whole game how you want to play it, and you don't have to do all the tutorial stuff and do any of that stuff because you
Oh,
already
that's
know.
smart. Yeah, that's really smart.
So that's from what I get and from what I understand, how that will actually be and how it actually sort of how the user experience will be. It's unknown just yet, and I think they may not know either. Which I think during the open beta they're going to be fishing for that kind of information.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
or I said open beta, I meant closed beta.
Yep. Oh, it's super close. Did you hear what they did?
Uh,
Allegedly,
I think so, but go ahead.
they are banning people from streaming it.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so illegal. That is not legal. It
Nope.
just simply is not. Like if you so much as play a cutscene or have the music on, they could file a legitimate DMCA. But if you're just playing the game and that's it, that's basically a review of it. It's transformative, and it's the same crap with Nintendo, and nobody's had the balls to sue them. So,
But here's the thing: in order to participate in the closed beta, you will have to sign an NDA.
oh, see, that's the thing. Like, is it a terms of use or is it a true NDA? Because a lot of these people aren't even 18. You know, they can't prove it. So,
Right.
I mean, if I didn't even use a real name to sign up for the beta, which I think we all know I didn't,
Yeah.
then who am I signing as? They don't even know me.
Yeah. I mean, I think I mean, obviously time will tell. But I imagine there will be if they're going to do a true NDA, which I believe that they are, there will be age requirements. I mean, there has
Probably.
to be.
Yeah, if they legitimately make you like e-sided and stuff, that's going a little far, but I think they know because they're smart that that's the only way to stop it. Because if it's a terms of use, the most that they can do legally is delete your account on the game and ban you from playing it. That's it. They can't take down the videos. So if it's an NDA, I won't touch it, but if it's not, I was thinking, and this is hilarious, I'll just stream it anyway. I'll just upload videos of it anyway, and the second that they file a takedown, I'll do a counter notice and take them straight to court because I'll win. I mean, it's not even like, oh, they might out-lawyer me. No, I'll win. The problem is I'd have to do a GoFundMe for the legal fees, but that would hit 50K in about a day because people freaking hate Wizards. Like, that would be so much press. Like, hey, Desolator Magic is suing Wizards over their illegal DMCA takedown. You'd get like the H3H3 crowd, and you'd get like the Wizards, anti-Wizards crowd, I should say. Oh my God, employees at Wizards would probably donate to it because they're like, yeah, I hate these people. So it's like, do I want to go through all that crap? I mean, I would. You know me. I'm very combative. But I don't know.
That's your charm.
Well, the problem is it would expose my first and last name. That is literally the only thing stopping me from doing it.
There you go.
That is it. Like, that is 100% of why I'm on the fence about doing it. Other than that, I know I'd win. So, and I would sue him for damages. I'd sue him for everything, sue him for legal fees, and then refund everybody's like GoFundMe funds. Like, it would be so like the quickest 1-year lawsuit ever. It would be just an auto win. And then I'd probably go after Nintendo next, honestly, just ride the notoriety. So that's my 5-year plan on YouTube is to piss off giant corporations and sue them and then just live in the courtroom.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny too because when I was told that they're going to do an NDA, I was like, okay, so how are they going to regulate who they're inviting based on age? Because an NDA is not enforceable under the age of 18. So,
yep. Or if you signed it with a fake name, how do they prove that you're the person? So they could go after a YouTuber for uploading footage.
Well,
but how do they know that the NDA they signed was legitimate and that they used their real name?
True, because when you sign up for a DCI card, you don't have to show an ID.
Yep. My DCI name is not my name.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Another reason I can't go to a tournament. If I rank high enough and they send me a check, I'll be like, crap.
So
that would suck. If I won, they're like, here's your $50,000 check. And I'll be like, damn it, that's not my real name on my bank account. Crap. No, legitimately, if I go to a tournament, I will use Dracon's name. We already have this all planned out. Because then he'll just cash the check and give me the money, and I'll use his DCI number because he's older anyway.
There you go.
Yeah, people would buy it.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see. I mean, only time will tell. Well, we have a month to see. So here are some of the top hot topics or questions or things that people are talking about when it comes to talking about Arena.
Oh, this should be good.
So the first one that I've heard and seen, and I just laugh. I mean, I like literally have a gut check laugh on this one. Arena is replacing the live paper Pro Tour.
I don't know about that. Come on, people. People were saying it's going to replace MTGO. There's no trading. It's built to have no trading.
Exactly.
Okay, MTGO does not need crap flying around on the screen. That is not what people wanted. They just want a stable client, and they just dump money into it. They don't care. They just want to play Magic as fast as possible.
Right.
So that's not going to happen. And then, it's going to kill off paper because then they don't have to print the cards. Well, clearly printing paper cards is difficult for them lately.
Right.
But I mean, come on. There's people who are only ever going to play paper. The whole LGS is what all collapse. They get so much bad press. They can't do it. They can't kill it. They can't do it.
No. And let's just face it. I mean, they'll never do it because first off, it's their best promotion of their product. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, granted, is there a ton of viewership? No. But, point is, it is their best promotion of the game, right? Number two, it provides competitive players something to strive for. Like myself, who's just dipping their toe into the competitive ring. Like that's what my goal is, to make the Pro Tour. I don't want to play digital Pro Tour. Like, no, come on.
You might as well sit home and do it. Why even fly all the way to God knows where they're going to hold the next couple? I mean, they'll have it in like Azerbaijan before they have it in like Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, once in a while they throw in an American one, but they're so bent on like, look how multicultural and national we are. It's like people don't want to fly to Hawaii. It's expensive. Okay.
Right.
Like it's like so many hours from anything. Oh, just dumb. That's just so stupid, but it is what it is. I mean, but the thing is now, okay, let me throw out a wild card. Do you think that for representation reasons, because they've made so many rules tweaks and so many policy tweaks and operational tweaks to the top 16, that they'll say, okay, top 16, put away your decks, you're playing digital, just for the top 16 for the finals, so that they have a full high res. I mean, the announcers can't always tell what's in people's hands, or they're looking on the camera, I can't quite see what card that is. Like, how unprofessional is that? And then 100% of cheating would be gone in the top 16, because people have been dumb enough to cheat on camera.
I think no. And this is why I think no. I think the interface is too flashy for tempo of game.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, because people would be like, I wanted to play a card, but this. And also, everybody knows that it can't handle infinite combos. No digital thing can.
And so then you have an issue of following the right rules protocol. Like, how many times have you missed a trigger? Like, you're not going to miss one playing paper, but you could miss, doing something on digital because it's like,
that's true. That's true. Because it's like acknowledging things that you wouldn't normally, like they'd be automatic.
Yeah.
I made so many mistakes. I'd been playing for like 4 years with paper before I jumped on X-Mage, and I made mountains of mistakes. So I could see that. You'd have to be proficient with both. And yeah. I mean, it would be flawless shuffling, and it would prevent all cheating, but I don't think Wizards is overly concerned with those two topics. They should be, but they're not.
Although I don't think digital shuffling algorithms are all that great.
I don't know. They're probably better than paper depending upon your technique, but the top level pros know that if your deck's not random, you will lose. Patterns equals losing unless you're the one stacking your deck. Yeah. So I mean, it's based on a clock, but it's so close to random that it's good enough. I mean, people saying, oh, X-Mage's shuffling is crap. It isn't. It's just people. It's the psychology of it. People are like, it's like when Apple had people complaining that clearly shuffle mode is not random enough, and it very clearly was. So they made it less random, but seem more random, and people claim that they fixed it because they just made sure that songs from similar artists would not play in a row. And then people are like, oh, that's so random, even though it wasn't. It was structured. It was like purposely chaotic. So I think people are seeing patterns where there are none. I don't know.
Well, we'll see, but I don't think so. All right. So the second one, which you alluded to already in our conversation, the last one is Arena is replacing MTGO.
Oh my God, sell your collection, sell everything, sell it all, sell it to the robots, run, Chris. We got to get out of this. We got to jump ship. Get off the Titanic before it goes down. Arena's going to kill it.
No.
They play Hearthstones for the graphics and you know it. Oh, wait, there's no card trading. That's right.
Yeah, no way. I mean, exactly. So Arena's not going to have a marketplace, okay?
Yeah, they have the card value is zero. The second you spend the money, you literally spent the money. It's gone.
Exactly. No eternal formats will be on this platform.
Yep, that's the other thing. Yeah, it's going to be standard only.
Yeah.
No commander, no nothing. Modern, nope.
And think about it this way. A lot of people are like, yeah, they're going to eventually build it in. Let's sit back for a second. Now, I've worked in the Unity platform previously.
Cool.
I'm also a developer by trade. I'm also a user experience specialist. So I have, 15, 20 years in development work as it stands. Okay.
Sweet.
So in order to do all of Eternal formats, to include them in this, okay, now they've already spent 5 years developing the game as is, and it's not done yet. Okay. So think about it that already.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, over 14,000 cards and interactions and functions and mechanics and animations and all that shit that has to go into this. I just said the S word, so whatever. I'll have to bleep that out. But the point is, yeah. But 14,000 cards. They would take them over a decade just to develop those cards into the system, not including to be able to put all the animations that they want to keep consistency of the flair of the game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the animations, the artwork, the graphics, and the voice acting is the most expensive part of any game, especially a card game.
Right.
I mean, they don't have to balance your FPS guns and make sure the damage per second. No, it's just a card game. I mean, they already have the logic written. They just probably copied and pasted it. But the graphics and artwork, my God, it would be a $100 million game if they did that. So I could see that.
Yeah.
Plus MTGO users that are like hardcore into it, every single one of them, 100% of them that I talked to said, I don't need animations and sound. I just need the interface to work. I mean, they just want to play Magic as fast as possible and go into professional tournaments. That's it.
Exactly.
Simple.
Like, for instance, my testing for GP Portland is all going to be a bridge between XMage and MTGO. If Arena was out, I would not even touch it.
Yep, pretty much.
Because here's the other thing. You're not going to have 100% access to all the cards in the pool right on release. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about that. How the hell are you going to build the deck if you can't trade cards with anybody? They might have a trade-in system where you can like scrap them for gems and then use gems to build a card or something. But the amount of money you would have to spend on boosters to get 4 of every card is a lot. I mean, let's put it this way. I ordered $2,200 worth of IXALAN, and I have approximately 7 of every mythic. So, yeah.
So here's my take on that and how that's going to work. And so what I feel is you're going to be able to buy booster packs like any other, pay to play game. Mm-hmm. You're going to be able to get cards. And again, they've qualified this already as a CCG and not a TCG. As some people have already thought about is, eventually they'll put a marketplace in it. No, it's a CCG. It's a collectible card game. Yep. So that in tow, what will likely happen is they'll give you opportunities to do it in 2 different ways. Possibly buy cards while upgrading, like say for instance, upgrading your level of expertise, or buying this, or buying like badges or stuff like that. They'll build it into rewards and badges of honor to get certain cards.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, if it was literally just 15 card boosters, it would not work. So they're gonna have to do like a Planeswalker only pack or something.
Yeah, think of the virtual currency, say like VC in like 2K games, right?
Yep. Oh, that's going over real well.
So yeah, but I think it'll be of that line. I don't think it's going to be exact, but basically cards will be up, and you can use coins, virtual currency that you earn in the game, to acquire those cards.
Yeah, well, you know what DDO did? This was smart. On your 10th run through a raid, you would get your choice of one item of all the purple level loot or whatever that could be dropped. So
Right.
once you've done it 10 times, you just pick whatever you want and move on with your life. So they might do that, you know,
Yeah.
or just trade any 25 rares into one rare.
Right.
Okay, it would almost have to be 5-1 actually, because I mean, if they make this too expensive, people will just go to MTGO.
I don't think they will make it super expensive, because you're going to be able to earn virtual currency to get this stuff, right?
Oh, that's right. You can earn it for free. That's right. That's why they can't have a marketplace, because 100% Chinese bots day one, guaranteed, because they would just farm it and sell it.
Well, here's the thing. Unity doesn't have a true marketplace code base. If you want to build a trading marketplace, you have to actually build it custom.
Or you could just run a browser control, right? Where you basically open a glorified browser window and then the plugins are still active, so it never works.
Yeah, but then at that point, at that point, it's like, then you might as well just build MTGO.
Pretty much, yeah. So yeah, they're never going to implement trading. This game, never. It just can't happen. There's so many reasons it can't happen.
No. So the second one is through digital redemptions. It's going to happen. You will see things, and they'll integrate it with things like pre-releases, drafting, and special events at store level. So
that's right. They leaked that to the WPN page. That's right. They said they're going to do that.
Yeah, and so there's a whole strategy, and that leads us into one of the other. Well, actually, the rest of these. Arena is going to ruin paper Magic. Yeah, okay. Arena is too flashy for me. Make it better MTGO, which they're going to.
Yeah.
And Arena is going to have it marketplace. No. So like we've discussed all of these, and this is kind of what we've been discussing, but come on, people. Let's think logically for a brief moment, right? And think about it. The fact that this game is not going to be anything more than standard and draft.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. They're going to just vaporize your cards when it cycles out, or just have some legacy against the AI thing or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
It makes sense. I think they just want to take a little bit of people's money, because if they had a lot of money, they'd go to MTGO and then get them into the store, because then Magic's more on their mind and they want to try playing with real people in person. It makes sense, because then they win on both ways. And then if somebody only wants to play digital but doesn't want to drop $1,000 on MTGO, they play Arena exclusively.
Yeah. And
then if they kind of occasionally want to play digital, but they mostly play at card stores in person, then they go to Arena, because they don't want to buy all their cards twice on MTGO, which is where I'm at, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, so it's the perfect product, and it is what it is, but people are like, sky is falling about every single thing about it. And of course, they're picking it apart like crazy, which is why they're very selective in what they're releasing for information, because people will overreact and make assumptions, and then they'll get bad press for a week until they correct it.
Exactly. Well, and here, last thing that kind of you alluded to is as well, when cards rotate out, there will be a question of that is, well, what do you do? And I think what will happen is they'll issue a digital currency credit.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They'll probably let you just nuke them, or just have a very, very legacy way to play it.
Or trade it in or something like that. Yeah.
That's cool.
I don't know. So anyways, that's wrapping up our episode. Des, any other final thoughts, things, tidbits you want to share with us? Anything good that you want to share?
I think that if people are smart enough to hold the mythics from IXALAN, just the mythics, because the rares, rares are rares, but just the mythics, because they lowered the prevalence of mythics by, I think, 16.5% by adding 10 extra rares. Those are so short right now, but they're so either on the fence or bad, that when Rivals comes out, anything that's a mythic will skyrocket. Like if it's going to go up a little bit, no, it's going to go up a lot. It's either going to stay the same or it's going to go through the roof, and those are the only two things that can happen. So, I mean, some of them, you look at the one that does like that Star of Extinction or whatever, that is never going to go up, okay? It is what it is. It's not will it combo with something unless they bring back the monk that grants your spells hexproof, lifelink. Then people would play it. But, there's certain stuff where you're just like, no, just no. But there's certain ones that are like I forgot, Tishana. Oh my God, I would buy every copy of Tishana. She's like $1.20 or something right now, or something outrageous like that. Might be the buy list price. I would buy up 100 of them, because if merfolk become powerful, she's pretty damn good. I mean, she's a little high on the cost, but there's certain other cards that are lower cost and more realistic, but it's just what deck would you put them in? Well, as soon as you answer that question with Rivals, oh my God. So I'm not buy listing with selling any of my mythics at all. I'm selling off the ones that are high now, but anything below $5, I'm keeping it, and I'm not even going to touch it for however many months. So that's my words of wisdom. I'm not exactly the biggest MTG finance guy, but that, with me selling singles and knowing how everything works, that is absolutely solid advice.
I think Tashana, to your point, is right now $249 on Star City Games. Okay.
Yikes.
When Rivals hits and we hit Rivals Pro Tour, that will be a $10 card.
Oh, easily. Well, she does cost $7, and I don't like that, but just remember, treasure ramp, treasures are going to get bigger, so your spells are going to get bigger faster. So all the cards that are unrealistically high, like 5 and up, they could hit some money.
And you can still use Commune. I mean, it has green, so it has access to that. And you have no maximum hand size, so you can, I imagine you're going to have draw spells like Jace and stuff like that to get you there.
Yeah, you could do a draw your entire deck. It wouldn't even have to be like Omniscience, just like you're free casting in such a loop with all the free casting garbage from Amonkhet that you could just draw like 3, draw 5, draw 6, and then just keep it going and draw enough that you swing once with her and then she's unblockable. Boom,
Yeah. Or I mean, you then have access. I mean, if you play more of a heavy blue-centric, blue-green, mostly blue, using Overflowing Insight, right? Draw 7 cards.
Yeah, and all the board wipes, the asymmetric board wipe that costs 6. I mean, the deck writes itself. It's just not there yet.
Yeah,
which makes me think that there was intent there. I don't think it's a coincidence. So yeah, I think
I agree.
It'll be huge. It'll definitely be huge. So just in general, if people are like, "Oh, IXALAN sucks, everything open sucks, I'm going to trade everything away and go back to buying and trading for Kaladesh,"
I'll take it all.
I mean, it's not a terrible idea, but they just remember some stuff is going to go up like more so than normal.
Yeah,
because they don't usually drop 4 sets at a time. I don't think they've actually ever done that, unless, at least not from that number to that number. I mean, I know that's never been done.
Yeah, no, this is the first time, and they had to do it because I'm not exactly sure why they had to do it, but it had something to do with how they restructured the different, the Pro Tour formats and all that other.
Yeah, well, they were going to do an 18-month cycle for legality, and they shrunk it from 2, but 2 was just a side effect of changing from 3 to 2.
Exactly.
So it was only supposed to be that way for like a couple months, and then people threw a fit. Oh, my lands. Like, well, I get it. Lands are expensive, and even I was like, who cares? Thoughtseize, get it out of here. Ugin, get it out of here. I hate these cards. Why would I want to play with them for 2 years? Or play against them, with them, sure. But the lands, I'm like, oh, the lands, though. That's actually a reasonable point, but now we have this, and then you lose them all at once. It's like, whatever, you did get to play with your lands for an extra 6 months. Okay, I get it. But other than that, this was disastrous, and this was never the intent. I still think some of the BFZ card combos were never supposed to happen because when they designed the sets, they thought BFZ would be gone.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's why Magic was partially so bad for the last year. So they listened to people whining instead of just ignoring them and let them storm off and probably honestly still play. And they shouldn't have. They just shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
So that pisses me off, but whatever.
I miss land fixing. I really do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I'm a mono guy. I'll even do mono splash. I used to build nothing but mono splash max, and it works. I mean, because your opponent will get mana screwed or color screwed a certain amount of time. Because just think, if you start with 2 islands and your best spells that you need to get off early are green, you, instead of like 1/3 of your deck being land, so 1 in 3, it's 1 in 6. If you're lacking some fixing. So with fixing, it's like 1 in 5. So you got a 1 in 5 shot. So 5 turns on average to fix that, to pull a green source. Now, if you've got 16 dual color sources, that's a whole different thing. So I wish that we didn't have so many universal lands like Aether Hub, but yeah, the less the better. And honestly, if they just went hardcore with it and just made the worst fixing ever and skipped every other set so that you really have bad dual lands, then bring out a mono thing like Devotion, I would be so happy, because I just love mono. I just love it, because then everybody's running these exotic single purpose decks with glaring weaknesses, and it's like a chess match, and it's more heavy on sideboarding decisions and that kind of stuff.
Or like the game of Magic of old. I
Oh
mean,
yes, yeah, that's how it always was. Yeah,
I remember, man, days of playing 95, 96 Magic. I miss those days. Oh, I miss
yeah,
those
I know
days.
what it's like because I played Shalanda Shalir. I don't remember what the hell it's called.
Chandelar.
Shalandar,
Chandelar.
Shalandalar. Okay, shellac, your lar. Got it. I just kept calling it chandelier because that sounds way cooler.
And it's more.
That game, oh my god, it was so classic, but it was so miserable.
Oh, it's so brutal. But
It is the Dark Souls of TCGs. It is literally
for
Dark Souls.
for 90.
It's the Crash Bandicoot of TCGs, and it's Cuphead too. It's all of them.
I liked your Cuphead video, but it's funny though. Think about it this way: Chandelar came out in 96, 95.
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, Magic was a much different game then. You still had antes then. I mean,
Yeah, like a 4/4 for 4 was like, that's good. Like you could dominate the game with that. A vanilla 4/4.
or a sorcery speed control spell. Yeah, that works.
Well, see, the spells were so bad that you come up with like a Black Lotus and people are like, okay, I mean, what are you going to do with it? And mana
Right.
burn, by the way. So it's like,
Oh,
and then no
mana burn.
mulliganing, like you couldn't do anything degenerate with those overpowered cards because they weren't. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what people don't get. They're like, oh, Magic must have been so bad and so high power back then. No, you got to mix them with crap printed 10 years later. And then you've got Vintage and Legacy, which is why I have no respect for those formats. They just don't even resemble Magic.
I wish they would actually release this game on Steam. I would totally buy it because I can't play it. So I have a Surface Book. I can't play it on there. So I can't boot the game up because like Windows 10 is like, what is this?
Yep. I ran it on 7, barely. I had to really
really?
heavily modify it and start editing some like INI files and stuff manually, but yeah, and still the res, it screwed up my desktop icons irreparably. It's a mess. I mean, it was a mess, but I knew where stuff was. Now it's just a mess. And I have 2 monitors, so it really went to hell quick when I opened that like 640 by 480 res.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, they should bring that back. That'd be awesome.
Oh, that would be so awesome. I should write to them and say, dude, you should release that stuff. I don't even know if Micropose is the one who used to own that license. So I don't know. I don't know if they can.
I bet the source code's gone. I mean,
yeah,
and even then, what would you compile it in? They'd have to recreate the game almost from scratch, but they'd have the assets because you could rip the assets out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've seen a lot of classic games come back into Steam, which is really great. I don't know how far back your video game history goes, but like there's a game called Jedi Outcast, which was like probably one of my favorite Star Wars games back in the day.
I've heard of it. I haven't played it because my family's broke as hell. So it's like it goes back further than it should because like when the PS3 came out, we bought a PS2.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like time shifted like 7 years, but we also didn't buy that many games. That's the thing. Like if it was a big heavy title worth a ton of money, I just couldn't afford it.
But they recently released that on Steam again, like I think a year ago, whatever. And I was like, yes.
Epic. Dude, they got like Baldur's Gate on there and it made so much money. Like they probably made 50 to 1 on the development cost to just fix it.
Yeah.
I think they just put in a frame rate cap and fixed like some audio crap. It probably took them like $10,000 in one contractor.
I actually still have the my old physical disc of Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, me too.
Anyways, well, listen. I know this went a little long, but I do appreciate you joining again, and it's always great to talk to you and have some good conversation. I felt like we talked a lot of good stuff, and hopefully we get to do this again sometime.
You bet. I'm gonna go hide in my apocalypse bunker from Arena, ruining everything. It's gonna take over everything, Chris.
It's gonna take the end.
There's no more paper. Just rip up your cards. It's gone. You're gonna have to burn them for fuel.
It's end of paper.
Oh my god.
Oh
boy. I was gonna rip up a card just for the fun of it, but even though I'm not on camera.
Hey, but they still put the blue strip in there.
You know what?
I thought they stopped.
There we go.
There you go.
Bye. What was this? Queen's Agent.
There you go. There's that blue stripe.
Speaking of the blue adhesive, there's something that people don't know about it unless they stumble across it accidentally like I did, and I'm gonna just blow the lid off it.
Oh yeah.
That's my spoiler. That's my sneak peek of the next episode
nice.
Here. So.
Can't wait.
Yeah, they made a slight change to it. Nobody noticed but me. So
I think it's kind of funny and ironic. I ripped up Desperate Castaways.
Oh, well.
All right. Well,
Cool.
thanks for joining, man. I will talk to you next time.
All right. I'll see you.
See you.